Hi everybody, my name is Paula Shaw, and in this video I am going to discuss the major astrological themes of this full moon coming up in Gemini. And this full moon is happening on the 27th of November pretty much everywhere in the world. And I really feel that this full moon is going to bring a shift of the really intense energy of the Sun Mars conjunction that has been playing out in Scorpio. The day that the Sun Mars conjunction happened, which was actually on the 18th of November, and it's active a few days either side. However, this is a big initiating conjunction, bringing in a new cycle that will ripple over the next 2 years. So anywhere in your chart that you have Scorpio will be going through this huge amplification and energizing, intensification of whatever that house rules in your chart. And if you have any planets near that, that's going to be really activated and mobilized. A lot of personal will, a lot of personal power, a lot of, I can do this. It's Mars, it's the warrior. And this, at the same time, the moon was in a conjunction to Pluto. And Pluto is the lord of the underworld. Powerful transformation. And honestly, what I have been feeling and observing and what I've seen in other people is that the last couple of weeks have been heavy. Now we know world events are intense, and Mars is associated with war, and the Sun is leadership. It can be very masculine. This is actually a very masculine conjunction. And Scorpio is the underworld. And then that Pluto moon conjunction on that day, there's a lot going on. And this activation, intensification, amplification can feel overwhelming, can feel like it's just too much noise, too much pain, too much carnage, too much trauma, just too much. And if that's been you, then this full moon's going to bring some reprieve, and it will shift the energies just enough, is my feeling, just a bit. Because one of the key things where I feel like this full moon will be a bit more grounded is because Mars will actually be square to Saturn. Now, Saturn is like the elder of the sky, the wise one, coming in and squaring, like being in this dynamic with Mars. It's like, hey, Mars, you need to calm down, calm your war farm, calm down, and just like, let's do a reality check here right now. So I feel that this full moon will be bringing in a moment of a bit of structure, a bit of containment to all of this energy. However, on the more positive side, this is a full moon in Gemini. And Gemini can be a lighter sign, but it's not like, it's not a flaky energy with Gemini, not at all. Gemini is symbolized by the twins, which is symbolizing duality. But they work together. They're not separated. And one thing I'm observing so much lately and recent times is this overstimulation of information through media, through the internet, social media, where we are being almost given too many things to try to think about, to try to decide about how we feel about, and to often like this pressure to take a position, to take a side. Who are you for? What are you about? Are you a Democrat, Republican? Are you this party, that party, Labor, Liberal Party in Australia? Like, it's insane. And it's this bigger pattern that's coming in astrologically with Pluto moving into Aquarius in 2024. Check out my forecast, like subscribe, or join my Patreon to get an early release of my 2024 forecast. It's an ebook. I do it every year. And it's an overview of the bigger transits that are coming up next year. And Pluto in Aquarius is a huge feature, which is saying get out of taking a side. Get out of choosing, necessarily having to only choose one political party. I know we have to vote. I know we have to choose a side. But you can hold multiple truths An example of that is somebody can believe in God and still agree with science. We are capable of holding more than one position on issues, on life, on problems. In my sessions, I always look at that, the problems that people sit with me and bring to the session as the central point, but there is a 360-degree view on any issue. There isn't just one thing. Gemini is saying, go beyond duality, transcend the dualistic, see that it's all a game, that if you look at anything in isolation, you can give it a judgment value as either good or bad, but when you start to read the complexity, those moments transcend that. It's if something really, I lost my job, let's say, I lose my job, and that's bad, yeah, and I didn't want to, and how am I going to pay my bills? But then a week later, somebody contacts me and offers me the job of a lifetime, and I'm really happy. And maybe I wasn't going to leave unless I was asked to go. Is that then a bad moment? Well, it's not. Is it good? Well, it's also not good. It's kind of both. And when you can include the both, it's not either or, it's both. Therefore, it's more. And this is when you start to experience Gemini. The deeper teachings of Gemini is to dance beyond duality, is to dance beyond that place where you have to just be one small part of reality. It isn't complicated. It's not hard to be with the complexity of life. In fact, when I look at the astrology as we move forwards, it's kind of like the invitation is to be with the complexity. It's to be able to hold multiple truths, positions, realities on everything, because that's when you can respond from a really powerful, wise place, and you can get really into a deeper connection with your intuition. And this full moon is saying, hey, step back, see it all through a different lens. See that you don't have to choose a side. I mean, of course, when we vote, I'm using that political analogy. Well, we do, but you can hold a complexity around that. And I just get this feeling, Pluto's going into Aquarius permanently at the end of next year. It will be there for 20 years. It's this, how can we go beyond this, two-party system that's happening in my country? How can we go beyond this duality? How can we start to be with complexity? And I really feel technology is a part of the response to that, or not the solution, but a way forwards. But honestly, this full moon, it really feels to me like there could just be a boost out of this heaviness, like this moment to go, let's be with the magic of life. Gemini does have a court jester going beyond the illusion vibe to it. It can be the court jester that is the only one that can tell the king that they're silly because they do it in a funny way. Gemini is like the Heyoka, which is in the Native American Indian tribes. It's the person that's neither good nor bad, they're both. And they can do and say things and behave in ways within the tribal setup that others cannot. So it's going beyond the duality is liberating. It can actually be fun. I don't mean good. I mean, it's like, wow, it's all a big, cosmic joke. Is the ultimate teaching of Gemini. So this full moon, it's your opportunity to just kind of zoom out, accept that it's all happening, to know that that Sun-Mars conjunction is starting to come down, and that, actually Mercury will have just moved into Sagittarius, which is, Mercury is already in Sagittarius. The Sun will have just moved into Sagittarius, which shifts us out of Scorpio season. And like I said, this has been one of the most intense Scorpio seasons. It's almost felt like an eclipse season. And actually, this full moon ends the eclipse season officially. So in a way, we are still journeying with the energy of the eclipses. But the point I wanted to make is that Mars has just moved into Sagittarius at the time of this full moon. So again, it's like, okay, you know, we're going to be all right. So at the world level, I feel like this amplification of war that we're experiencing, and that it's so in our faces. I mean, there's always war on some level. However, we're going through a time where it's quite overt, and it's, like I said, it's in our faces. This is going to still be activated because Sun and Mars are still in a conjunction. They're only 2 degrees apart, so they're traveling together for a little bit. But they're traveling through Sagittarius now, which is about higher law, which is about the greater truth, the bigger meaning of things, you know, that there is a way forwards. So my prayer is that we start to get in touch with this energy collectively, and we start to get out of that shadowy underworld Scorpio, the shadow of Scorpio being that misuse of power and that dredging up of those energies. And I'm hoping also that this full moon brings in an energy where all of that intensity and that I've got so much to do, or there's so much to think about, so much to care about, so much to feel about, starts to dissipate at this full moon as well. Again, with it being in Gemini, and also with Sun, Mars, Mercury in Sagittarius, which is so good, guys. Like, truly, this is the reprieve. I will remind you, I mean, Pluto is moving direct, but Uranus, Jupiter, and Neptune are still in a retrograde pattern at this point. So at the collective, that's more the transpersonal planet, guys. Like, that's the collective. Again, this is like the weather forecasting. You know, it's a stormy day, but is it actually raining where you are? This is, we're still going over some old themes, and they will be retrograde. Well, Uranus will be retrograde until the end of the year. And the other planets will start to turn direct soon. However, it's like we're still going over some old stuff. But I hope at this full moon you can dial into some Gemini energy. You can tune into the Sagittarius energy, and just thank you so much, Saturn, for keeping, you know, Mars in check, and for giving us a bit of a reality check, which could just be, hey, humans, we need to rethink this, because Saturn is direct in Pisces. This is about the collective. This is humanity. This is the sign of we are all in this together. So hopefully the elder in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, is like, we need to sort this out, because he is squaring the sun and the moon in the full moon. So sit at this full moon, let some of your stuff go. If you've had your shadows being really dredged up with that big Scorpio season and the eclipses we've just been through, write it down, release it, and take a big breath and forgive yourself, forgive humanity, and just trust in this bigger process. This Sagittarius energy is about faith. You know, it is about trusting that it's actually okay. All right, I'm sending you all so much love. I will see you soon at the new moon coming up next month. All right, lots of love, everyone.